everyone, I'm ESVDiamond, and day one of Heroes Rising, the Heroes of the Storm LAN being held right now, just finished. I wanted to go over day one and do my day two predictions heading into it. I'm going to jump right in. Day one was incredibly hype. There was a lot of good matches. The biggest thing that stood out to me, above all, is the North American scene has become very competitive. While it still looks that Cloud9 has an advantage over other teams, um, it doesn't seem to be that large based on what we saw today is there. And past Cloud9, anybody can beat anybody. I mean, Kings of Blade Alpha, we'll talk about more, but they went toe-to-toe with Tempo Storm, who went on to then beat Murlocs. Uh, I thought the event was well done. Seems well produced. There was some lag issues, but that's LAN. I'm not going to hold that against them. I've been to IPLs, multi-million-dollar events that have had plenty of venue internet issues. It's just the unfortunate part of using large venues as esports gets bigger and bigger. So we're going to first go over my predictions from day one. As you can see here, I have quite a few things marked. The green boxes represent wins that I correctly predicted, and the red boxes are wins that I incorrectly predicted. Overall, I did 7 and 5. One of the matches in particular, SK versus OVO, because of a wrong prediction here, there was no way to guess that one or this one right. So I'm pretty happy with that. Looking at it, Bob Ross OVO, that was a very easy one. I don't want to take too much credit there. This was one of the big upsets, SK and Kings of Blade. Cog Panda, I was very unsure of that heading in, but Panda really showed up. Murlocs versus Blaze was one I even said when I predicted it the other day. I said this is the one I'm most unsure on, so I wasn't surprised I was wrong there. And I got a couple of the losers bracket matches wrong, mainly because they fell in different ways. Let's talk real quick let's start with the 4 teams that were eliminated. Cognitive, SK Gaming, Kings of Blade Alpha, and OVO. OVO and Kings of Blade Alpha were both sort of expected to be out early. They actually both looked really good. I thought they were going to get just stomped every game, and they got beat, but they look good. And Kings of Blade Alpha even took it out of SK, and that's the next team. SK, hugely disappointing run. I'm sure they wanted to secure that SK sponsorship. I am sure that going 2 and out. Oh, real quick. There we go. This is what the bracket ended up looking like at the end going into day 2. So SK Gaming going 2 and out, that's not a good look when you're trying to get a sponsor at a major LAN who just probably spent $2,000-$3,000 sending you out there. At this point, it's very obvious that once they lost biceps, that they lost a majority of their strength. I've seen Blank with SK with biceps, and I've seen them without. 2 different teams. If I was SK and they really want to get into Heroes and they want to go with that team, because that team does have some good potential, you got to get rid of Aragi and get biceps back in. I'll just be blunt because it's not a secret. Every team Aragi ends up on dies horribly and has a lot of issues. They have moments where they're good and then they just completely explode. I don't believe he's a real suitable person to be a team captain, team leader. Unfortunately, it seems like he's the one SK trust. So that'll probably continue and probably go nowhere. They need biceps. Them going 0 and 2 was very surprising. While I didn't expect them to beat Tempo Storm or Bob Ross Fan Club, which is who I originally predicted they play, to lose to King of Blades, even though King of Blades looked good, still not what they were looking at. The 4th team that was eliminated, Cognitive Gaming, they had I'll be honest, just a very bad showing. I think the decision to remove Glaurung before the event, like a week or 2 before, was a very poor one. I feel like if they would have had Caterpillar, Glaurung, Iacona all on the same team, that they could have actually pretty much wrecked face. They had some good games. They looked incredibly good in the second game versus Bob Ross. Caterpillar was trying his hardest to carry, setting up plays. The problem was their tank player, Silol, is just not at the top level anymore. Something I talked about a little bit in my previous video. He made a great number of errors this weekend that cost them series. There was one where he failed to clear the shaman from a camp. He cleared the 2 dogs on Infernal Shrines, but did not do a shaman. And if you don't know, the shaman resurrects the dogs. So he spent like 40 seconds basically doing nothing. Then he also selected Judgment one game over Sanctification, which is just like, I mean, that happens, but man, you can't have that happen with an alt like Sanctification. I was pretty disappointed in COG's performance. I really thought they would do well versus Panda Global. I thought they'd struggle a lot after that, but Panda Global just crushed them. And then when they played Bob Ross, they did all right, but they lost. Oh, looks like I made a mistake on this one. They lost 2-0. I think it's time to go back to the drawing board for COG. I think they got to look at major roster revamp. If they're able to secure Caterpillar, that would be a great place to start. But at this point, Silal and Syracuse just aren't top-level players. When put against the best, they fall apart, and they make a lot of mistakes, and they show why nobody's going crazy trying to acquire these two. So I hope for best for COG. I really like the organization. I know their manager very well. I like, Iacona is a great guy. Uh, Build a team around Cattle and Iacona if you can secure them both. Get like another really strong player, so you have 3 strong players, get 2 okay players, and you'll have a team that can compete, make regionals probably. But they got to do something because what they put out today was not good. Now going on to the teams that did advance, Cloud9 looked fantastic. They looked really good. The addition of Arsalan looked great. They had some cool comps that they wouldn't have really been able to run with Fan. At this point, I think Cloud9's the best team in North America and the best team at this event. But will they win it? We'll go through that with my predictions. The other teams, Panda Global, I mentioned they were a very disappointing team where they had all this amazing skill, and when you just looked at their roster, it was like, wow, this is strong players. But they failed to show it. They showed it a little bit today. Although they got 2-0 by Cloud9, they didn't get blown out of the water, if I remember correctly. And they 2-0 Cognitive really hard. That's a match I was not expecting to see 2-0. If they were to beat Cognitive, I would have pretty much bet money on it being 2-1. Possibly Cognitive throwing one of the games. But they stepped up. When it mattered most, they did what they had to do. They got the win versus Cog. And that's very important because that moves them away from Bob Ross Fan Club in the losers bracket until later on. The other teams that are still in, Tempo Storm came out with their debut. They looked a little bit shaky in the King of Blades series. They looked fantastic against Murlocs. They do seem to be relatively unprepared for Towers of Doom. That was the game Murlocs managed to take off them, and they just didn't seem like they knew how to play that map. I don't know if there's map bans in this tournament. If there is, and I was Tempo, I would be banning out Towers of Doom. They look fantastic on every map that wasn't that. The other teams are Blaze. Blaze, actually, I was sort of disappointed. I had them as a front runner to really do something hot, and they didn't look good today. They're still in it, but they did not look good. They got beat up by Murlocs in what I expected would be a close series. Then they they beat OVO pretty good, but that's expected. If they play like that tomorrow, they're not going to make it. There is one thing I've begun to notice with Team Blaze, and that when a patch cycle nears the end and most of the strategies are figured out and just waiting for a new patch, they seem to taper off. We are literally less than a week away. I sort of wonder if that's maybe what's happened. They're sort of out of tricks up their sleeve. And I'm turning off fan real quick. And that it threw them off for whatever reason. Sorry, 1 second. All right. Blaze plays like that tomorrow, they're out versus Panda Global. I originally, before this event, if you were to say who would win Blaze, Panda Global, I'd say Blaze all day. I don't know if I think that now. And the final team, Murlocs, I actually had a bunch of crap on Twitter with their players being upset at a statement I made. Here's the blunt truth. I predicted exactly what was going to happen in my first video. I predicted they'd lose to Blaze, but as far as they would get to Tempo Storm or C9 and not make it, and probably Bob Ross Fan Club. The brutal truth is, it's not looking good for Murlocs if they want top 4. It's sort of unfortunate they hit Bob Ross Fan Club in the losers bracket. I really feel for them because I think if you are to look at Panda Global, Blaze, Murlocs, and Bob Ross Fan Club, Murlocs are the second best of the team. Bob Ross is better than them, but not by a monstrous margin. I really wish it almost would have been better for them if they would have lost to Blaze, because then they would be separated from Bob Ross until top 4. I think that's where I sort of had them in my mind, was 4th place, and they're going to have to fight an uphill battle to get there. And then the last team, Bob Ross Fan Club, looked incredibly vulnerable today. For most of the time that Bob Ross fan club has been North American scene, they have looked almost near invincible. They've had a couple games here or there, especially near the end of ETS, where they're getting close, and they even dropped one to SK. They looked more like that. I didn't know how they'd come out. They have a lot of LAN experience. Zuna, Kenma, and Fan all have insane LAN experience. I was sort of expecting a little bit more out of them. Their series versus Cognitive was surprisingly close. It shows on their Cog 2-0'd them. They didn't. That's just a mistake. They 2-0 Cog. And they didn't look very good versus C9. They looked outclassed. When I watched game one, I'm like, one team is significantly better than the other. If they turn around, though, they still can take this thing. I think there is a very real possibility that the winner of Murlocs or Bob Ross fan club could take the whole thing. But they got to work their ass off, and they got to sort of play better than they did today from both teams. So let's talk predictions. Going into day two, again, I've done all my day one predictions already. Previous video, showed you them here. Let's talk Cloud9 Tempo Storm. This one's a little bit tough for me for a moment, but when I really went back and looked at Tempo series versus Murlocs and Tempo series versus King, actually, I would say Tempo's game with Murlocs on Towers of Doom, they're just baffled at what to do, and those are the type of things that Cloud9 takes full advantage of and will exploit heading in to this match and will be prepared for. I'm going with a winners final. Hold on, let me double check. Yeah, it's best of three. It's best of three? Well, then I bet I did this best of five. They just changed their brackets. Best of three, I go 2-0 Tempo. If this was best of five, I would do 3-1. Or, excuse me, 2-0 Cloud9. If this was best of five, I would do 3-1 Cloud9, which you'll see me put here. I think Tempo can take games off them. I think they're at that level. I don't think they can reliably do it yet. They're still too new a team without enough tournament experience. So 2-0 Cloud9 in this. I would not be surprised at all by 2-1, but I think any way you look at Cloud9's going to the grand finals as the winner from the winners bracket. Panda Global versus Team Blaze. This is a match I'm super conflicted on. Again, heading into this, I would have said Blaze all day. Panda Global, for the first time since they've come together, looked like what I thought that roster would be. I was very impressed by their Cognitive series. Even though they lost again, I was impressed by their Cloud9 series. This is definitely one I can be massively wrong on, but I'm going to go with 2-1 Panda. I think they are showing up way more than Blaze is failing to show up. Whether it's nerves or whatever, Blaze did not look their usual selves. Panda Globals look better. It helps they have B-Kid. He has a ton of LAN experience. Big E, Big Impact, I don't think has LAN experience, but he has a lot of high-level experience. They seem to be doing well, and they have Michael Udall and AKA Face, who both were at Heroes of the Dorm. They have a lot of LAN experience on the team. I think that's really what's going to carry them through Blaze. So 2-1 Panda Global. Murlocs versus Bob Ross fan club. Again, I feel for Murlocs a lot. I would really have loved to see them on the other side of the losers bracket. I think we'd have got much more competitive matches, but as it stands, I think Bob Ross is going to 2-0 them. I hate to be harsh on Murlocs because there's a lot of people. I really like Fury. Cawthon Luck is one of the people I respect absolutely most in esports. I really, genuinely think he's an amazing guy. I have nothing but great things to say about Cawthon Luck. I don't see how they beat Bob Ross fan club. They failed to do it before. I know, being in the scene, I hear pretty much how all the scrims go, and I know they haven't been favored in Murloc's side in the least. Maybe the last week or two, but before that, it was heavily in Bob Ross's favor. Additionally, tournament results, they've never been able to beat Bob Ross. I think they only took one game one time. And when it matters most, Murlocs is failing yet again to show up. They played a team today that has been together for 2 weeks. They've been together 9 months. And yet the other team looked more synchronized than they did. And that's really weird. That stands out to me quite a bit. I'm gonna go with 2-0 Bob Ross fan club. I would love to see Murlocs pull it off. I think that'd be real exciting. It would make a much better tournament if we didn't have Cloud9 Tempo Bob Ross fan club top 3. But I don't see it today. That's going to be a 2-0 Bob Ross fan club. So let's move on to the next rounds. All right. For the losers semifinals, which is the best of three, Panda Global versus Bob Ross Fan Club. Um, Panda Global looked great. They didn't look good enough to beat Bob Ross Fan Club. Uh, Short of a big breakdown, I see this being a very clean 2-0 for Bob Ross. I don't think it'll be easy. I think they'll be able to do it. They'll be able to make it look solid, but they're not going to be like 3-4 level raffle stomping them. These are going to be some decent games, but in the end, I'm going to go 2-0 Bob Ross. I don't know why this is resizing, but whatever. Again, this says 3-1, but 2-0. I thought it was best of 5, but Heroes Rising has switched their bracket 4 times since I started making everything for this. So that change just went through right now. Whatever, 2-0 Cloud9. So then we have Tempo Storm and Bob Ross Fan Club. This is an incredibly hard matchup to predict. If Bob Ross Fan Club had looked as good as they usually look heading into on day one, this would be a very easy series for Bob Ross to take and a very easy prediction for me to make. However, not only did they not look good, they didn't look as good as usual. Tempo looked pretty good. Shrey seemed to do well under pressure. They made some really creative calls and plays. I went back and forth on this one for like a half hour, and I'm still not confident in my pick. This series can go any way. It could even be like Bob Ross Fan Club stomping them like 3-0 or whatever. It's a best of 5, though. I'm going to go with 3-2 Tempo Storm. However, that is one of the series to watch. And that would put Bob Ross in top 3, which I got to imagine they would be less than pleased with if they lost to the new Tempo Storm. I know some of their members are not fond of Shrey, and I doubt they want to lose to him. But I think Tempo Storms, I think we're about to see the thing we've always seen. Whoops. And that is Cloud9 Tempo Storm Grand Finals, boys. Now, how this works is this is a best of 7, which again, they just switched. And the Cloud9, the winners bracket finalists, will get a 1-game advantage heading in. Is this really? I can't believe the winners final is best of 3. That's crazy. Anyways. So Cloud9 will enter the series 1-0 in this case. And they will need 4 wins total, including the 1. Or, not including the 1. Including the 1? I don't know. They'll enter 1-0 and they need 4-0 to win. I don't think they're going to 4-0. I think Tempo Storm, given enough games, is capable of taking a game off them. I don't think they're quite ready to take a whole series yet. Cloud9's incredibly experienced. Their entire roster has just ungodly LAN experience, every one of them. I think they're going to take it a 4-1 and be the grand champions of Heroes Rising. I'm really excited for how Day 2 plays out. The North American scene looks very, very good. This is getting a lot of good LAN experience for many of the players, and I'm super duper excited. So make sure and check out Heroes Rising. It starts tomorrow. It looks like the first match starts at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So that's 2 o'clock Eastern. Definitely watch it. All these games are going to be good. I could literally be wrong. Like, when I did my day 1 predictions, there was a couple, like Bob Ross being OVO and Cloud9 being Bob Ross. I knew I wasn't going to get wrong. Like, those are as guaranteed. Every single one of these picks, I could be wrong on. It could go Blaze and Murlocs winning, and then Murloc somehow wins the whole thing. Regardless of how it goes, I do think Cloud9 is going to win it, and the big story to take away is Cloud9 is still the dominant team in North America. They're looking closer to World Championship form, and a big win here will be a big boost for them heading to Gold League in China. I would love to see new winners. I think we're getting Cloud9 Tempo again, boys. So, thanks for tuning in. I tried to make this one a little shorter. I know my last one got a little bit long. So I'm going to end it now. Make sure and visit our sponsor, team sponsor, Alienware, over at www.alienware.com. They provide me a awesome Alienware Area 51 computer to do all these videos on, and it rocks. So again, www.alienware.com, and I'll talk to you later.